Welcome back. It is another Saturday, and we are here for another live of the 3 Year Beard. So, yeah, it's almost getting time to the fourth month. 4 months of growing this beard. I'm pretty happy with it. I've been collaborating with a few beard beard brands. One who I really like is Weatherbeard. Weatherbeard is an all-natural oils that have been scientifically backed to help with nourishment and the growth of your beard. It doesn't make new follicles, but it just helps promote healthy growth of your own current follicles that you have. So if you guys check out Weatherbeard, you will not be disappointed. I'm loving their product. Really happy with them. You know, they're really nice, and it's really high quality products. But yeah, really enjoying that, and I'm kind of a little tired today. I'm a little tired today because I did a bunch of yard work. I mowed the yawn. I mowed the lawn. I mowed the yawn. I mowed the yawn. I mowed the lawn and I trimmed the trees. And it was a bunch of trees, and yeah, I had to use that, that huge tree branch cutter. That's like a tree pole cutter. Man, it is fun. It is fun. But yeah, aside from going outside and getting some work done, doing some physical activity, I hope you guys have had are enjoying your weekend just as much as I am. The weekend is meant for, especially if you're not working, the weekend is meant for reflection, getting things done, picking up on other hobbies and things that you like to do. Could even be a project that you're picking up on or continuing to do. It's just all about getting things, working, and that's what I like to do on the weekends, as well as playing video games online with my sister. It's fun. So far, we're playing this one game. It's kind of like similar to um, the top-down character developer shoot like a fighter. So it's like similar to those Baldur's Gate 1, 2, and 3, not the fourth one, um, and other ones like what is it? Anywho, yeah, I like to play those games, and it's pretty fun. Me and my sister were having fun with this one particular game. It's kind of an unknown one, but we found it on Xbox, the store, and yeah, it's pretty fun. Anywho, let's jump in to the bearded legend of the week. Today's bearded legend is Odin. Odin, the mythical all-father from Norse lore, iconic long flowing beard, wisdom, known for his sacrifice for his wisdom. Here we go. As a better picture, better depiction of this god of Norse mythology. So yeah, basically, he's well known with many different movies, many different video games. He's from um, the Ragnarok, that one video game. Here, let me switch it over to God of War Ragnarok, and he basically plays the antagonist, the narcissistic, manipulative all-father of Norse realm, and the king of Aether. Um, he was originally voiced by Richard Schiff, but that's not important. But basically, he also is he appears in Marvel Avengers, and he's played by Anthony Hopkins, of all people. Anthony Hopkins, a great guy to play the god of all father of Norse mythology. Pretty cool. But yeah, let's go back to, this is kind of a other picture of how his beard is long and flowing. He actually is shown with many different types of beards. One short, one medium right here, and then one very long flowing right over here. So, Odin. A little bit more about Odin. One time, 3 strong facts I can drop about him. Odin sacrificed one eye to gain deeper knowledge. Basically, he wanted to go to the, what was it called? The Mimir's Well of Knowledge, and he wanted to drink from it. So he, a complex, system of sacrificing his eye to drink from that well of knowledge. He, took that chance to gain more knowledge, which is pretty interesting. I mean, obviously he's just, based off of lore, he's based off of mythology, so, I mean, is he a real person? I don't know, but you tell me. But yeah, son of God of Bor and the Jotun giant Besla. Odin is considered the creator of the world of humans alongside his brothers Vili and Ve. His role, he is a master of runes, magic, and shamanic practices. He is the leader of the wild hunt and is revered for his thirst for knowledge, hence giving up his eye. Now he's got a nice little cool eye patch. I wonder if I can zoom in on him with this one. He's also known for carrying around 2 crows. Let me go into this other one. 2 crows. Where did I have that? Okay, well, basically, yeah, I forgot what the 2 crows' names were, but anywho, yeah, he's, I mean, crows are kind of symbolic for very smart creatures, I mean, you've seen that episode of Rick and Morty, and if you haven't, that's a pretty funny episode where Rick, pretty much tames 2 crows, ends up, like, leaving, his whole family just so he can have an adventure with 2 crows for 1,000 years. That was a funny episode. But anyways, he's also seen as both a god of war and a god of wisdom seeker. So, pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, aside from, any mythology, real, non-real people, it's still pretty cool to, consider him a bearded legend because he is such a revered person. He's still used to this day as characters in media, in video games, and everything of that sort. And yeah, he just continues to show a big influence on his name, probably, for generations to come. So thank you, Odin, for contributing your mythology to what we kind of still use today in terms of your story, your determination, your ability to seek wisdom, and all that fun stuff. Thank you, Odin, for your contribution to be a bearded legend of this week. So, yeah, fun stuff. Obviously, I have his kind of a gray beard. I mean, he also has, like, it looks like he has a lot of, some, I guess, braids, braids on the sides, and he's got like this little, thing on the bottom where he, keeps it well, tied up. So I don't know, maybe the second year I'll try to do some braids myself. So as you can tell, I'm still searching for words. It's just I'm not just mentally fatigued, but I'm just physically fatigued because I've been outside working in the yard, mowing the lawn, and trimming the trees and everything like that. So forgive me, but that's what happens when you end up trying to do things, aside from coming on live. But that's when a little bit of caffeine helps. I can still push through it, but yeah. So let me go into the chat and say hi to Jordan. How you doing? Hey, would you dye your beard or keep it as is? That was also another interesting thing that I was thinking about. Since I do have 3 years to just, kind of keep this beard, I don't know how long it's going to get. But yeah, maybe I might want to try to, like 4th of July, use those temporary beard dyes, or, do a red, white, and blue thing. Since I have white, I can just put red on this side, keep this side, white, and then this side blue. Who knows? But I think it would be fun to kind of like explore different facets and different styles of beard, you know, uh, things like dyes and everything. But yeah, I don't see myself dyeing my beard, permanently. But I think it would be fun to kind of just you know discover what it could look like temporarily. So yeah, I'm thinking about that. Also, doing the braids and everything. I do have like some enough beard filled out, thickness, so I can try to maybe, do some braids and everything. I don't know. We'll see. But eventually I want to get it to, be long enough so I can actually take a tie and just like get all the way down and just keep it together, because I am working in healthcare, technically my beard is pushing the limits. Usually you have to kind of like, keep your beard at a minimum. And I just started a new job as a rehabilitation technician. So I'm in the gym working with people who are, working to get back on their feet, after strokes, after minor injuries, after some, torn ligaments that they're trying to train their bodies to get back into shape. I'm there to, help assist. I'm there to help, keep the place clean, and also to assist the other therapists as well. There's more than one therapist. There's, many different types of therapists. There's electrostimulation. There's physical therapy. There is occupational therapy. There is vocal therapy. There is, a few other therapies that I can't think of it right now. But yeah, throughout this whole outpatient facility, there's many different therapies that are going on simultaneously while I'm trying to continue to keep this place, well in order, and trying to assist patients, and just keep them engaged. I'm an engaging person. I like to, get to know people. I like to try to, see what everyone's story is about, and I just kind of like to stay present. Whole my whole thing is just to try to stay present, to stay fully engaged with people, to let them know that, hey, I care about you, because I'm not in my head, all day thinking about whatever. I'm actually genuinely interested in knowing what people are all about, and, where they came from, and, what their story is. So yeah, if you guys have any comments or would like to say something in the comments about your life, feel free. I'm an open mind. I'm an open person, and I'm obviously not an intimidating person at all, because clearly, as silly as I am, I'm not gonna probably intimidate anyone. Just except with this beard. I think this beard can be a little intimidating. I mean, just because it's really big. In fact, there was this new guy that got hired. His name is also Justin, and he works in sort of a cleaning sector. And he came up, and he was still being trained, so he was being, walked around through the facility. And while he was like walking through our facility, our outpatient facility, I got to say hi to him. He also had a beard, and it was a little bit shorter than mine and not as thick. And I said, "Hey, my name is Justin too." He's like, "Hey, another Justin." And I asked him, "Hey, how long have you been growing that beard?" And he said, "Oh, about a few months." But I tried to, but I ended up shaving it and trimming it because I wanted to make it look professional. And he said that to me, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, obviously, talking to a guy who's like, has a big beard like this, and I was like, I responded to him and said, "Yeah, I know that feeling. My beard is like pushing the boundaries a little bit, but." And that's the thing. I don't know how long my boss, my supervisor, is going to approach me and say, "Hey, Justin, your beard is getting really long, really big. It's becoming a problem. We need to start talking about, you maintaining it." But I hope that's not the case. I hope that's not going to be an issue, because I got hired, and I interviewed with my supervisor, and I told him, "Are you okay with beards?" Because obviously I got a big beard. I love beards, and he's like, "No, that's not a problem at all. Just as long as you keep it nice and presentable, nice and trimmed, and you don't come in looking like you just came out from a bender or from a all-night party, looking all greasy and everything, looking like you just didn't take a shower at all." So there is, some respect to keeping a well-maintained beard and still looking professional about it, and including a big beard at that. And as soon as the big beard comes to, get long enough so I can tie it up, that's going to become a little bit more maintained and well established. So I'm waiting for that. But, it's always in the back of my mind, wondering whether are they going to approach me. Is the boss, the supervisor's boss going to approach them and say, "Hey, you hired this guy Justin, he's got a big old beard, are you going to go tell him that he has to trim it or shave it or whatever?" And when that comes, I do have like this dream that I want to continue growing this 3-year beard. But unfortunately, if it comes to that point where they ask me, "Hey, we need you to kind of like keep it at bay, keep it trimmed and everything," I'll gladly do that because, I need to make money. I'm not making money doing any of this. I do many other channels. I don't make money doing any of this. So it's just but anyways, yeah, it's just the reality of things. Like, I'm going to do as much as I can to keep this beard nice and maintained. I'm going to continue to trim a little bit here and there to make sure that it's nicely and shapely. And I'm going to use good, high-quality products like Weatherbeard, high-quality beard oil, all-natural beard oils, which is actually scientifically proven to nourish and give benefits to growing your beard to make it more healthier, more stronger. So you won't get, beard follicles, hairs that are coming out. In fact, it's been a week since I've worked my new job, and I'm doing a pretty good job. But I noticed that, like, since I'm cleaning all the machines and I'm like, walking around and doing all that, I noticed that there are no beard hair. I can't not find any beard hair on my. I can't. I don't see any dandruff, and I don't like, which is a good sign. It's kind of sort of a well-known fact that like most beard hair will fall out. Like a lot of beard hair, it will kind of like recycle itself, and you'll end up like getting hairs that will fall out, and it's just completely natural. You ask any guy with beards, you Google it, ChatGPT or anything, it is proven fact that most beards will end up like shedding over time. And it's just perfectly natural. But I'm not seeing any beard hair anywhere in the facility, so I'm like, thank God, thank God. Otherwise, if I'm like stressing out at work, obviously that's probably going to become a factor that, man, my beard hair is going to be falling out a little bit more than normal. But yeah, so far it's not that bad. It's actually pretty good. I'm getting a lot of good looks in the facility. People are looking at me. I even got told by one of the therapists, "Did you notice that one of the patients took out their phone and just took a picture of you?" And I'm like, "Really?" "Yeah, when you were sitting down, just with your downtime. Yeah, this guy, the patient that I was working with, he like took out his phone and I could see him like directing his camera towards you, and he took a picture of you." I'm like, well, I take that as a compliment. I take that, I keep like hitting the tripod. Um, I take that as a compliment because I know that, like, hey, not a lot of guys have like thick beards like this. And in fact, I also hear that it's only 55% of the world's population that can actually grow full beards. And that's not that. I mean, it's only half of the population, a little bit more than half. Like you're still in that like 50-ish%. So again, I think people see my beard as sort of a commodity, as like a marvel. Like, oh my God, like this guy, he's got like a big old beard. And I could tell that there might be some people that are like whispering in the hallways about me and about my beard, but luckily it's not circulating around where I'm like hearing it from another coworker. so far, but hey, there are going to be some people that are going to talk, and there's going to be other people that think that this is not professional looking, just because of the volume and the size of it. But that is a complete lie. It's a complete nonsense lie. You can make any beard or any hair, because basically this is basically the hair right here. This just might be a little bit more thicker and coarser, but when like therapists come in with long hair on top of their head, and I could tell that they haven't showered, because their hair just looks a little bit more greasier. They kind of get away with it, especially in healthcare. So it's like, it's almost like a double standard, right? Like they think that, like, oh, because a beard on the face, like hair on the face, is more dirtier than hair on the head. That's just not true at all. It's like it's pretty much all the same. It's on the head. It's on the head. And just like how you have to clean your cuticles, you have to clean your hands, you have to clean your body, you have to keep well maintained. It's the same thing goes with your beard. I wash, condition, oil, and butter every single day, and I even use this. Do I have it with me? No, I have it in the bathroom. I use at night a growing beard product, which is also from WeatherBeard. WeatherBeard has a solution to kind of help stimulate those follicles as you're sleeping, because everybody knows you do most of your hair growing when you're sleeping. If you didn't know that, that's just, look it up. But yeah, when you're asleep, your hair grows a lot, like it does a lot more growing. So you can actually stimulate your follicles when you're sleeping by using all natural oils like rosemary and peppermint. And those two compounds can actually stimulate the follicles and strengthen and nourish your follicles as you're sleeping. So it's like a win-win situation. But yeah. Yeah, I'm enjoying my new job, and I don't think it's a problem. So it's going to be a little bit more interesting when it just continues to get a little bit bigger and longer. Again, I'm going to try to just maintain it, as much as I can, trim it just little by little, so there's no, like, little follicles, little extra hairs that are sticking out. I'm going to, kind of shape my mustache so that it's, like, kind of out of the way. It's not, like, falling out. But yeah, I mean, it's all fun when, this type of shape and size, gets to a certain point. And I'm also talking to a few people about wanting to do some beard competitions. That's also something that I wanted to do when I was, basically 10 years ago when I first started growing my year beard. I wanted to do that so badly, but there were just so many things that kind of, like, held me back a little bit, and also, like, just the circumstances didn't allow me to do it. But I'm going to try to look up all these locations, especially nearby Las Vegas, nearby Nevada, maybe in California. I can maybe do a 4-hour drive, depending on where it is. But I'm definitely considering trying to do a beard competition. I know I'm not going to win, but I'm just like, yeah, it's fun. It's fun to be a part of that type of community. It's fun to be a part of that competition, regardless whether you think you're going to win or not. So it's going to be fun, and I'm excited for it. But yeah, let me go back and read a few more comments, because I just kept talking as I usually do. I kind of went on a rant. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Jordan. How many months has it been growing the beard, and why 3 years? Well, I mean, so far it's the 25th. As soon as this month is over, it'll be 4 months. Next month, starting May, will be 4 months. I started in January, January 1st, the start of the new year, 2026. And for 3 years, I don't know. I mean, I already did 1 year beard. 3 years just seems like, I'm kind of skipping over to the second year and going to the third year. 3 is a pretty good number. I like number 3. It's like the Schoolhouse Rock. 3 is a magic number. Yes, it is. It's a magic number. And speaking of magic, going back to Odin, he's known for runes, magic, and foresight. So there's no correlation to what I just said about that. But hey, if you're into magic, if you're into Harry Potter, or if you're into all that kind of fun lore, I don't even know if it's true, but I always like to imagine like I'm gonna be this wizard, I'm going to be this sage. But yeah, I don't know why I said three at first, but three just seemed like a good number to kind of like continue on, to be committed, because 1 year, 1 year goes by really fast. Like I said, it's almost 4 months, and another like 8 more months, and it's just going to be another year. So it's just going to be like very, very fast. So a second year, a lot of things can happen. The whole trying to keep and maintain a long beard like that. You go through the sort of a bends of trying to just manage something on your face or on your head for so long, just like having dreadlocks, or just like having braids, or just like having any type of hair. It takes a lot more time, a lot more commitment, and I want to just kind of push that boundary to the 3 years and see where that goes. Again, I don't care if like my beard gets all the way down to my feet. I mean, if I'm allowed to, that's great. I'll manage it. I still have to wear an N95, which is basically a mask. If I have to go upstairs, which is not outpatient, I have to, go upstairs with the inpatients that are still in therapy and still, in the hospital. And I keep like hitting things. But yeah, it's just, but the idea of maintaining a beard for 3 years just seems fun to me. So I don't know. I'm just, let's see what happens, right? I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see what happens. I'm actually currently working on becoming a therapist. Oh, really? That's cool. I've done a undergrad in music, and now working towards getting a master's in psychology and counseling. Oh, that's cool. I mean, you and I are kind of like almost a similar like route. I actually got my BFA in music and theater, and I just I went to school for that. I went to high school, did a lot of theater, and I thought, hey, you know what? Let's keep this going. Let's keep this momentum going as like I'm trying to perform on stage. I was a big performer. I did a lot of like shows like Oklahoma, a lot of like Sondheim, a lot of Rodgers and Hart, a lot of golden age musical theater stuff. So yeah, I played some of the love interests. I played some of the villains. I played Judd Fry, hired hand in Oklahoma. That was one of the fun times because I had to get beefed up. So I just went to the cafeteria in college and I just got like bunches of cheeseburgers to eat so I could bulk up a little bit. And I also grew my beard as well. Like just back then, like my beard was a little bit more darker and more, like that. So, but hey, I'm liking what it looks like right now. And obviously, theater is not my focus. I want to just get more into therapy so I can actually help people and make a real big difference, because I hear that physical therapy or any type of therapy, when you can see your patient improving, that means a lot to you. That means so much to people when they're trying to help others. In fact, it's a lot more helpful compared to other sectors in healthcare where you don't get to see the improvement of your patients. But my my thing is I want to work with patients and I want to improve their quality of life, and so I can actually see them improve, and then it'll just give me like sort of a really good feeling inside, knowing that I was there to kind of help get them to reach more of a mobility, more independence, and just more of a better quality of life. And so that's cool, Jordan. Good on you. That's cool. Psychology and counseling, is a good, helpful thing, especially in this time of day. Everyone, usually they have a hard time coping with things, and they have a hard time communicating with people and just communicating their feelings. And for me, Stoicism has really helped me, because I used to be I'm going to scream at the top of my lungs, all to the to the Lord about my problems. I'm going to like complain and complain and complain. that really didn't help because it really elevated my stress levels and it elevated my anxiety, and I didn't really feel like I was actually being helped. I feel like I was just kind of being a baby about things. But, being able to like understand in a stoic way that, you can actually help yourself by not overreacting, by actually just understanding people, even understanding your own feelings and your own self. So, I mean, I'm really happy that, people like you, Jordan, are able to kind of, see from different sides of the spectrum of creativity to, helping people in the world. So, good on you, man. Good on you. Love Sponge, hi, how you doing? June Sun, it looks good. Thank you. I appreciate that. James Long, your message was retracted. Okay, well, I didn't get to see it, but hope you said something funny. If not, then hey, come and tell me something about it. I won't be butthurt anyways. Uh, but yeah, June Sun. Oh yeah, you did that one like Cantonese symbol. Like, is that just like does that mean hey, hi? And I don't know, but thank you. I'm glad you think it looks good. But yeah, thank you, Jordan. You agree? Beard looks amazing. Yep. I'm trying. Uh, there was a video that I posted yesterday about true or false. Your beard actually grows differently on both sides. So like one side can grow longer than the other, at different times. And that's very much true. Like in fact, what you probably don't know is this left side, um, it actually grows a little bit more thicker and a little bit more longer than this side. Now, I'm lucky to have more of a thicker beard because it kind of hides it a little bit, but ultimately, if I'm sleeping on this side, which I usually do, I sleep on this side, but I also try to alternate just to sleep on this side to see, hey, maybe this side will actually kind of balance out and grow. But so far, it's like looking good. I'm not having to like fluff up this side more than this side, so usually, I noticed that when I was reviewing that 10 years ago, that 1 year beard, I noticed that, like, hey, sec, wait, is this side actually like a little bit less than this side? Oh, it is! And it's just more prominent, and you can kind of notice it more and more as it continues to grow. However, again, I didn't really do the best maintenance with my first year beard 10 years ago. In fact, 6 months into growing the beard, I didn't use any product. I didn't use any oils. I barely, I washed it, but it was like, shampoo, it was like soap, stuff that you probably shouldn't be using on your beard because it's so abrasive. Plus, it was a very stressful year at that time. So now it's not so stressful anymore because I'm kind of grown up. I've gotten a little bit older. I became a little bit more stoic, and I'm just able to kind of control my stress levels, my emotions. If I'm working way too hard physically, I get very hot, and then sometimes I get blotchy skin, but I get red. That's the thing when you're a European. Sometimes the Scottish or the Irish kind of like comes in, and you end up getting a little bit more red than normal. But yeah, I can't help it. I'm 41. I'm going to be 42 this year, so it is what it is. So I just have to maintain it. But I noticed that my beard is actually filled out and looking more healthier than it did 10 years ago. So it is definitely very true. If you want to grow your beard, beard products is definitely the key to keeping your beard nice and well maintained, nice and healthy, nice and strong. So there is a lot to that. So, um, Luthen, hey, I think I remember you. Uh, you said that last time, something similar like last time. You got a smelly finger? I don't know why. Wait, because you started like sticking it in places that you shouldn't? Smelly finger, smelly finger. Mmm, not so smelly anymore. Wash it, bro. Wash your finger. Unless you want that flavor saver, because that's usually what mustaches are known for. You know, different types of flavor savers, right? You nasty, Luthen. You nasty. All right. Orion, how you doing? Chill out, Luthen. Oh yeah, exactly. Chill out, Luthen. But yeah, I appreciate all the comments regardless. Don't worry, guys. It's not a big deal. Jordan says, "Nice man. I feel the same. I love the music, but really want to go into helping people." Yeah, I totally agree. And have you been growing? Also, have been growing my beard out for some time as well. Oh, how long? But more than a few months, or like a year or so? Have you been trimming it throughout the whole time, or you just kept it growing? Um, my wife just recently said that you don't have like a hair like an African American in your beard. You have more like a bushy beard because she's like half Asian, half African. So like she knows that like the curly Q type of like hair, like thick hair that African Americans usually have, like very thick, very curly, very coarse. But because at one point, I had a few people like back in the day would say like, "Man, you look like the upside down Don King." So I'm like, "What?" Just because like the beard looks very thick, it's not necessarily black and coarse. It's just kind of like bushy. So, and I kind of agree with that. It's more bushy, more thicker, more bushy than just kind of like the African American hair. So I will retract that. I will say that no, I do not look like the upside down Don King, especially not anymore because now I got more white hairs. But I still think it's funny regardless because I can talk to pretty much anyone regardless of race, regardless of ethnicity, and they'll usually try to like include me in something like, "Hey man, you look like you could be the Mexican Santa Claus or the Spanish Santa Claus, or you look like you could be like anything like that." But I have fun with people. Uh, Nitin says, "You look like the headmaster of Hogwarts." Oh, really? I mean, Hogwarts, the headmaster. Which one? The older one or the newer one? Because I know that there's like a revision, like a Harry Potter. Like the new one is coming out, or I don't know if it came out yet. But yeah, he looks a little different from the other guy who was originally the guy in the first movie and the first three movies. But yeah, ooh, says Nitin. Um, is that what the headmaster of Hogwarts would say? Wingardium Leviosa. Anyways, um, you looking like a Hogwarts? Oh yeah, you already said that. Watching from Gotham, deck play. Oh, decky play. Watching from Gotham City. Yeah, Gotham City. That's Batman's universe, right? Nitin says you sound like Hogwarts. You just keep spamming that, bro. Like, same to same. Headmaster Nitin, headmaster. Okay, Eric says you are very dedicated. The whole beard trend was exploding after 2015. Yeah, I just got on it, and I was lucky enough to kind of just show what I can do just naturally. But again, without just growing it by itself, you do need to maintain your beard with products because that does help a long way. And again, I'm definitely living proof of that. Compared to 10 years ago to compared to now, it's definitely a world of difference, And I just feel it's a lot more, softer, less like, almost Brillo patty. So, I'm happy about that, and it's because I've been able to talk to many different guys with beards, many different brands and products that pretty much give me the better insight of what it takes to maintain a healthy looking beard. But yeah, Nitin says he was also he was gay. I didn't know that. The headmaster was that like in real life or was that like in the movie? Like they just didn't mention it. I don't know if the writer was actually meaning that. So he might have just been like that in real life. But yeah, I don't know his personal life and I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, interesting. Nitin also says, "Sorry, I'm high by the way." Well, you know what? I don't judge you, man. I don't judge you. So just try to keep it at bay because you're gonna end up saying some fun things that you might regret later. That's usually me when when I used to drink a lot. What I used to do is I used to drunk call people, And it's not like, I would be like, hey, how's it going? I would make it a production. I would just be like, hey, it's me. It's Justin. I am calling you. I am at a party. How you doing? Yeah, yeah. It would be like a whole production and a whole musical out, like just by leaving a message and everything. Obviously, they wouldn't, answer the phone, so it would be better if I just left a message. And then I had a few people that would say like, that was so awesome, Justin. Last night you left that message for me. I'm keeping it. I'm keeping that message for a long time. And I don't know if they actually kept the messages, but that's pretty. It's just pretty funny. I'm a very silly guy when I'm really drunk, but and I'm also kind of like when I'm high. But hey, you didn't know that about me, and nor you will. But yeah, Eric says late night here in Australia watching Dress to Kill. I don't know that. Dress to Kill, is that like 50 Shades of Grey, or is that I don't know. I don't know a lot of shows, but I'm pretty sure you're having fun. Welcome to America. But yeah, oh no, did I say Australia? I meant Austria. Austria, huh? That's interesting. Never been there. How is it there? Isn't Arnold Schwarzenegger from Austria? But yeah. So Jordan says, like been having a beard for over a year, but I keep it like short, like close to the face. Oh, that's good. That's good. Again, people have their preferences. Some people just want to keep it at sort of a what looks like maybe a month's grown. Maybe some people want a 2 month. I've been talking to people that usually kind of varies between 1 to 3 months. And apparently what they say with ChatGPT is like, you don't want to trim your beard until 90 days of growing your beard. So that way you can kind of see, all like the filled out, like everything kind of like, comes out, and that way you can kind of trim it and shape it. But hey, it's to each his own, right? Some people can kind of grow it, a little bit more faster, a little bit, you know, it varies from person to person. But yeah, that's cool. Um, Jordan also says, I want to grow it out longer, but it's a bit too patchy, so try to keep it nice. Yeah, I think that's why the other Justin from my work, he kind of like, because his beard is also a little patchy, like, his beard like kind of like comes out like this, just a little bit on the side, but there's a little bit patchy in the middle, on the sides, and just on the bottom. So depending on who you are, you will definitely just figure out like, okay, does it look sustainable or manageable if I continue to keep growing it out? But hey, you never know. I watched this guy Nomad Push on YouTube. He's from Japan, and he basically goes from all over parts of Japan, and he travels, kind of like in the homeless life, where he now has a van where he lives in his van, but he travels across Japan, going from different state parks, different meeting different friends, just like the type of simple life that he lives. And he has sort of a long, kind of a longer, Japanese beard, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, whether it's patchy or not, it really depends on the confidence of the person. The confidence of the person, just like, Odin, the guy from Ragnarok. Uh-oh. And there goes my computer. I did not plan that out. For some reason, as I'm about to go talk about Odin, my screen just goes times out. Funny how that is, right? Man. Anywho. But yeah, Odin, confident guy, right? But hey, he wanted more wisdom, so he had to continue to make sacrifices to, gain what he wanted to gain. So sometimes, similarly to that concept, or that what am I trying to say? That similarly, trying to compare that to Odin, it's like someone who is trying to grow a beard. Obviously, there's some patches going out, and maybe it doesn't look good to them, But maybe to other people, it might look good. But you never know if it might look even better if you continue to keep growing it until it starts to get past that awkward phase. That's all I'm trying to say. But you never know. But hey, you probably know better than I do. You definitely know better than I do because you know yourself more than I know you, and vice versa. So it's all about what you can kind of see yourself as the person, what you can wear, you know? Basically, as that goes. So, yeah. Jordan also says, one day when it fills out, I'll grow it longer. Well, that's good. Don't count on it trying to fill out because, most of the time, depending on how old you are, your beard might not fill out. It might not because, unfortunately, there's not any tonics or any rollers or anything like that that's going to open up more pores, that's going to create more follicles. I don't think I've heard anything like that ever. When someone who has like that miracle growth stuff, um, but as long as you have your follicles that you already have, you can maintain that and keep it healthier and keep it stronger, and that might also help maintain that healthier growth over time and get it longer. But again, you know as far as like that miracle growth or like it'll grow extra hairs, it'll grow hairs where it's not, it'll fill in the patches. I've never heard of any product or any device that does that. And if you do know something about that, then please tell me because I'm definitely willing to be open about it, but I've just never heard about it, unfortunately. It's usually about genetics, and it's usually about like kind of what, because when I was in high school, I already had a filled out beard. When I was maybe in my teens, I didn't. So depending on how old you are, and when I was like a adolescent, I had like maybe one strand of, like on my mustache or one strand on my goatee, one hair or two hairs. But then, yeah, when you get to pubescence, puberty, when you get to your adolescence, when you get to adulthood, basically when you're 18 or 25 or so, like between there, you'll definitely kind of like grow out. You'll have the full potential of growing your hair, as far as I know. And if I'm wrong, then I can admit that I'm wrong. But I think that's what that is. But anywho, uh, you love long beards, but hey, you might love long beards, but it definitely takes a lot of work. There's a lot of guys out there that like have long beards, and you can't even imagine how much maintenance it takes to keep a long beard like that. Just like having long hair. My wife, she's got like very thick hair on top of her head, and every single Friday, every single weekend, she has to, because she has like she doesn't have straight hair. Because she's Asian and African mix. She has like very curly hair, like very thick curly hair. So like if she doesn't maintain it, it gets really like poofy, and it gets almost like to the point where like it starts to become a problem. So she has to take the time to straighten it every single week, and it takes like hours. It takes hours. And sometimes I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing in there? But I understand that because when you have long hair and when you have a lot of hair, it just takes a lot more work, to keep it maintained. Just like how like you'll lose sleep when you end up like, sleeping with a big long beard. Like sometimes I'll go like this and then the hairs down here will tickle my neck and it's like, I get annoyed by it sometimes, It's not going to be perfect, so sometimes it's a blessing not to have long hair. Sometimes. But if you can maintain it, if you can hold it, if you can keep it nice and tamed, then yeah, it's all worth it. It's all worth it. But it really depends on the person. Some people like long hair and some people don't, It's just what it is. Would love to have a beard like Adam Moran. Beard Meets Food. Oh, I love that guy. I love that guy. I watch him all the time. Beard Meets Food. Yeah, Adam. Oh man, he's so fun to watch. I mean, not only is his stomach is just like almost like otherworldly. he just like he just has a great beard, and he is able to maintain it regardless of how much food he stuffs in his mouth. I mean, like, and there are some competitions, some food competitions where like he ends up like almost putting all the food on his beard and looking like that, right? Like, you seen that one episode where he's like at this ice cream parlor and he like eats that nothing but the sink ice cream sundae. Oh my gosh! Like you could just imagine all the ice cream just going flowing in his beard, and yeah, it's just so gnarly. But like the guy is just super talented, and he's a great personality. I mean, there's a reason why he has like over like millions of subscribers on his YouTube channel. So, that guy is like a best of both worlds type of situation where you can have a great looking beard and have an awesome talent of eating so much food, you know, and having a great personality. He's very likable, But yeah, you're 26? Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be very certain that, your hair follicles have already reached to the maximum potential, but hey, if I would probably try to do some research and see if there's any alternatives. I know there's going to be some, products that say, oh yeah, this little, dermabrasion roller kind of helps, but I don't know if it does help. I hear both sides. Some people have said, "Oh yeah, it kind of works," and then other people are like, "Nah, it doesn't work." And then other people that say like, this miracle tonic, it's gonna open up the follicles. It's gonna create the patch. It's gonna fill it in. It's honestly, again, genetics rules over anything else. So if you have a good genetic background, yeah, you're gonna be blessed with a beard like this, or even sort of a goatee that has potential to grow really long, or even a mustache that can just go all the way out with like other people. I follow a few people on Instagram that have like different types of mustaches, different types of beards, very very long beards. All of it is fun for me. I don't necessarily have a preference for what is cool and what isn't cool, because sometimes I even think that patchy beards are cool looking. You didn't hear that from me, but now you heard it from me. You heard it here first. Oh, that one show with the Bad Friends or something. Anywho, yeah, I watch a lot of podcasts, and I'm pretty sure you do too. But yeah, I only started growing my beard around 21. To be honest, super patchy. Took years for it to look nice now. Hopefully, it'll be until 30 before I grow a big beard. Yeah, I mean, if you got time, see what happens. And if you're in a good situation, if you're in a good, you know, position in life where you can just let it grow out and you're not going to be condemned or, judged. I mean, but regardless of being judged, it's okay because everyone's going to have an opinion about something. Everyone's going to ask you, hey, why don't you just shave it off? You look, like, obviously there are going to be some people that tell me, hey, man, you look really old because you got a white beard. And it's like, yeah, so. I mean, clearly you block this out, I kind of look, pretty young, but then you block this out, I look older. So it's best of both worlds. I got the wisdom on the bottom and the party on the top, right? It's the new beard mullet. No, that's a stretch. That's a stretch. But yeah, my beard is similar to Andrew Garfield's beard. So yeah, Andrew Garfield. Let me look him up for a sec. I do have to get going, but like I wanna. I'm very interested, and thank you for coming in and talking about this. What was his name again? Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield beard. Oh. Oh yeah, that's not bad. That's actually pretty good. Here, let me put him up for a sec. Let me put that up. Yeah, like this guy? This guy, right? That is pretty good. Dude, that's not... I wouldn't say that's too patchy at all. I mean, come on, he's got like, a pretty good, roundness. He's got a little, like, goatee, like a little, well, that goatee patch right there. and he's got a nice, mustache that's filled out. Again, that is presentable, that's nice, and that's cool. So when people say like, oh man, I wish I had like a more filled out beard, sometimes you wish you didn't because it's just more maintenance for you. Sometimes you could just, get a lot of girls and a lot of, commemoration because you have a nice, presentable, well maintained looking beard. It doesn't always have to be too filled out. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah, that looks great, man. And if you have a beard looking like that, you're definitely, doing pretty well. So, I wouldn't do a thing. But hey, if you want to keep growing it out, do your thing because, hey, you're already looking good already. So, yeah. But anyways, guys, it's almost an hour. I am pushing the limits of this live, and I do appreciate sometimes, I start out really, really tired, but then I end up like, almost amped up because, of you guys coming into the chat and saying hi and, talking about beards. But yeah, I really appreciate it. I'm going to get going. You guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I will see you for the next live next weekend, and also be posting another short for tomorrow. But yeah, have a good day, guys, and I'll see you next time.